What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to pick up where we left off last time. As you remember, we got the intake on and nothing fit. Fuel rails hit, water pump hit, throttle body hit. Everything was wrong, everything was backwards. So what we've ended up doing is we've got a bunch of parts in. As you can see over there, we got several boxes. I'll show all this stuff here in a minute. But remember, we got everything taken off of here because everything was in the way. I mean, just a big mess. So what we've ended up doing is we've gone to the LS3 style setup, which is basically going to flip the alternator over to here. It's going to put the pulley over here. Going with the LS3 water pump, which is off like a 2010 Camaro, because all of the LS3 stuff is truck spacing, which I have the truck balancer down there. So I didn't want to change that out. It was just easier for me to swap all the other stuff over, and I know that everything fits. So the plan for today is to get that bracket on, get the alternator mounted, which I did. I broke the alternator. If you were wondering, I had to end up getting that fixed because I guess I broke something inside that little resistor or whatever, exciter. So I got that fixed, so that's good. So we'll put the alternator over here. We're going to get this pulley on. We're going to get the water pump on. We're going to try to get the regulator on today. Get the fuel lines ran to there. That way, everything up here is pretty much, it's done other than the charge pipe. We'll have all the fuel lines hooked up, everything hooked up. Injectors still aren't in yet. I don't know what the deal with that is. It's been a couple of weeks, going on 3 weeks this next week. So hopefully those come in, and then that'll complete everything up here. We've also got the fuel pump in. We've got the regulator in. We've got, what else? We got the filter. Trying to remember. I think that's it. So take a look at what we got. LS3 water pump. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I chinched out and went ahead and just rattle canned that. You know me, I usually base clear everything. But I mean, it's a water pump. You don't see this anything. Anyway, it's all covered up. So just go ahead and rattle can that. That way it's ready. This here is this is my pulley for the, just the pulley. Yeah, the little idler pulley. It's right there if you missed it. This here is gonna be, I think this is the alternator bracket. Yeah, this is the alternator bracket. All ITC billet stuff. Nice little components. I mean, you can polish them up if you want to. I leave them raw. No big deal on that. This is the fuel regulator. I'm assuming. Nope, there's more fittings. Yeah. Always hard doing this and trying to hold a camera at the same time. So there's our fuel regulator. 2 -8s out. Going to be a -10 in, return style. There's my boost reference and actual fuel pressure gauge. So that's a nice little piece. That wasn't cheap, as anything Aeromotive makes isn't. And we're going to go with the Aeromotive brushless 5 gallons per minute pump. I mean, seeing as we're switching over to E85. I had everything on here Aeromotive before. The guy that bought it, you'll know that. It just wasn't enough. We were running into the issue that we were kind of at the limit on that, even running on a race gas, that we were getting close to kind of pushing the limits of it on a blow through and going to this right now where we're switching over to all the fuel injector stuff. It was going to be, I mean, there was no way it would work. If I was running fuel, I probably could have got away with a little bit, but switching over to E85, using 30% more consumption, we had been in trouble. So with that being said, like I said, we're going to try to get the alternator on here, the pulley, water pump, and then mess with the regulator to get the fuel lines on that. I'm probably going to have to run out the Summit, give me a couple of fittings because I don't think I have the ones I need. It's going to be kind of tight back there, but I think I can make it work. So I'm just going to jump into this and start ripping open packages and start putting this stuff on. I ain't gonna lie, guys, I'm going to read directions on this. I know they're kind of suggestions on how to put things together, but this one's actually pretty self-explanatory as far as this part. Really? And it's got to go in the water. There it is. It's always starting off the day in the cold and in the water. Gotta love it. And then I put the bucket right back underneath it so I can do it again. It's always nice putting some nice shiny parts in the car that you'll never see. All right, we got the backing plate of the alternator on, got the water pump on. That was a little tricky. I didn't think it was going to go on for a minute. Had to actually waller out a couple of the bottom holes. But it fits on, and of course, the more I look at this, it still scares me that that alternator isn't going to fit. Obviously, everything lines up good as far as the spacing, so all of that works out right. I'm going to go ahead and put this pulley bracket on over this side over here, and then I'll venture into that, because that right there, it's still going to, I don't know. It's going to work somehow. I'm going to make it work. I may just have the wrong alternator. It's supposed to be a 175 in a 105 case, so it should fit. But it's got that back plastic on there. I may have to cut some of that off and just kind of finagle it a little bit. I still need to cut the steam vent pipe in. In my other one, I actually tapped into right here and put an 1/8 inch barb there, and that's where I put my steam vent. I don't know if I'll do that again. Could do it up here somewhere, or I could do it in the cap over here, but don't know yet. So let me get this pulley on over here. Hopefully everything lines up fine. I mean, I know these pulleys line up together. I'm still kind of nervous about that alternator. I mean, I know Joey's got the same pump on Gold Digger, but he actually has a 105 alternator. But again, it's made up to 175 like mine is. So I don't know. I just think maybe that plastic on the back may have to come off, but won't know until I get this on here and then start trying to figure it out. Okay, 2 down, 1 to go. All this seems to line up good. Looking down the pipe, pulley's kind of got a little bit of a, not wobble, but just obviously not the best casting in the world. Okay, we got that lined up. Now I'm gonna attempt to get this on. Got to kind of figure out what spacers it used, because I've never actually put this one on here. It just still seems kind of like, I don't know. I'm looking over here at where that fuel line is. You look at that fuel line right there. Man, that's gonna be close. I know it's got a spacer that brings it out, but I don't know. Don't know till we get it on there, or at least make an attempt. Now, of course, going through all the trouble of putting all these in, I gotta take them all right back out. As I use these other bolt holes, I'm hoping that I'm using the right spacers on these. Okay, so obviously you can go through there. Oh, probably don't want to put the socket on there, just saying. Okay. Don't really know what all. Pretty much basically just taking the space of all the. Really? Of course, you know, every time you drop a bolt, it's got to go right towards the middle of the car. Stay. Okay. I'm assuming, you know what assuming does, that this goes here. Well, that wouldn't be right. I gotta be looking at something wrong. Okay guys, as I expected, as you can see, this big back plastic housing is going to be no bueno, because it's hitting right on that fuel rail and on the back of the head. Now I think what I can do is, I know I can cut this off because it's not serving any purpose as far as, I can still have the channel there. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull this back plastic off and just see if I can get it on there like that, and then I'll figure out what to do with it on the rest of it. There's bound to be a way to do it. Let's just see if I can try without breaking it again. Okay, it's on there, but I don't quite know what I'm gonna do as far as the plastic going around the back. I can make it work, or should I say I'm going to make it work. I think that this right here actually will be more down like that, which would be perfect. Like I said, I can trim out that, find something to go around that. I just need to be able to get to that one wire and be able to keep it away from this fuel rail. I can turn that a little bit, but for the most part, I think that's going to be it. I think what I'll end up having to do is, show you here, because this only goes on one way. And if I can cut this piece right here off, like I said, I don't care if I gotta if I gotta tape the back of it. It's not like I'm worried about it getting as far as anything in it. It's not like I blow this motor off with a pressure washer or anything like that. But it only goes on one way, which is the plugs down there. So basically, yeah, all of this will have to be ground off or cut off. I'll start off with just this part right here first. Just taking that and zipping it with the grinder, and then kind of working my way around it. It'll be a Frankenstein little project, but I mean, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, let's see if we're making any progress at all. Where's that plug? It's gonna be this way. So this has actually gotta go up just a little bit. I know it clips like right there. Man, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be real close. Problem is I gotta take this thing off like 5 or 6 times to fit this over, because I know that's where that goes. And I think that'll clear the back of the actual, but I think this actually will have to come off even more. So, let's start taking more off. Money! Look at that. Just enough that, well, I can swing that up. May have to, I mean, if I have to adjust up this high, just turn this line a little bit, but other than that, plenty of swing. All that's good. Now I will get something to cover this back part here where I cut that horn off. I'll just lay flat and leave a little vent up here towards the top. But other than that, that's money. I ain't about to try to have to buy more crap. If you can't do it, cut it up, make it work. But I can get this belt on here now, get this cinched up, redo all my radiator hose stuff that I messed up on last time. Well, not that I messed up, it messed up. But get this rerouted down to where it's supposed to go now. But I mean, all that lines up good. I put my old belt on there and just kind of ran it to make sure that it's not in or out or anything like that. Got all the right spacing in it. Now, what is it? Yeah. Just get that belt on there, and then I'm gonna jump over here on that regulator. I'm gonna try to mount that regulator. I'm gonna make like a bracket that comes off here and hangs down and kind of just put it right back here so these lines just come straight out. I think I can get a 90 and just come out and just go straight into it. Get as close to the back of that intake as I can. That way those lines come right up to it. Makes it nice and simple, out of the way, and the shortest runs I can possibly get. But other than that, I mean, I'm real satisfied with the way this turned out right now. So far, the radiator hose lined up, I mean, exactly where the other one was. Like I said, I need to either drill and tap that and put that vent pipe in there, or I need to come over here and put it in the top of this one here. I just don't know which one I'm gonna do yet, but that's the least of my concerns right now. Right now, I wanna get all this cinched up, get the belt I need, get that back there hooked up, and that will be, I mean, that'll be a good day's work right there. I've still got the fuel cell over here. I need to go paint. For the Joey's and paint it, you can see where I had Josh put me a -10 return up here, and he switched out that 8 to a 12 right there. Super nice job on that. But I think I'm gonna paint the fuel cell. I'm tired of the natural aluminum. It's getting kind of beat up and nasty looking, so obviously I'm gonna paint it black. I will base clear this, and then put that fuel pump on, fuel filters, all that stuff. But for right now, I need to run out Summit. I'm gonna have to grab the fittings to go for that regulator. Then I can put those on, put the lines on. So I better get to moving. Okay guys, we are back from Summit. Got my fittings. Got a belt that doesn't fit, obviously, so I gotta take it back. What I decided I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this regulator and we are gonna put it right there. I figure what I can do is I can come straight off 45s from the regulator into straight off the fuel rails. I've got a piece of aluminum over there I'm gonna cut to make a bracket to be able to get that there. I can put my my fuel pressure gauge there, and I can put the boost reference on the side right there and have plenty of clearance. I'm gonna try to give myself plenty of room to move up and down. I'll show you on this piece of aluminum. I'm gonna try to have this, you know, just you know, make this long enough right now to where I can put it in there, just see where this goes. Bolt this to this, bolt this to that part coming right off the cowl panel. That'll all be filled in. And that'll kind of tuck it back in there just enough to give me clearance and be out of the way of everything, but give me plenty of access to get to it if I need to. So I'm gonna start cutting on this aluminum here, get it notched out, get it drilled, set in there, and it's just kind of gonna be sliding up and down and just seeing where it goes. I already had the 45s, and I'm gonna use, I'm gonna go ahead and use AN fitting, not AN fitting, I mean, obviously AN fittings, but I'm gonna use the braided line back there in the back because it's a little easier to bend that stuff. That push lock, I like it underneath where you're never gonna get to it. You just want it stationary, and there it is, and it locks in, but this tends to bend a little easier, and it's hard to make that curve that tight going off the 45s into a straight. So I'm gonna use those to do that and get this thing on there. That'll be knocked out. Obviously I gotta run back and get another belt, but this will be the last piece of the puzzle, and then I'll start jumping on that fuel cell. Okay, I think I'm liking the placement. Obviously that'll be painted, but you can see right down there, got plenty of clearance. I mean, it's tight, don't get me wrong. It is tight, but I can come straight out of here, go straight out down to a 45 to there. Same on the other side. I mean, they'll be even, not that I'm really worried about that. I got just enough room to get my sensor wire down there on the fuel pressure. This here is right here, perfect. I know this seems loose, but I mean, once the fuel lines are on it, and of course there'll be some zippy ties and stuff like that, but it can't move, it's solid. I'll paint this obviously so it blends in. So I'm gonna jump over, get to making these lines and get this thing knocked out. All right guys, after a little finagling and bending stuff around and recutting and recutting and recutting and fitting again and recutting, I think we finally got it figured out. I think we got it right where we want it. Got the lines back there in the back. You can see right down in there. Everything's kind of, sort of, in a way even. Really short lines. I just got to make the one little line right here. That's my actual feed line. I'm gonna have to put a 90 on it to get it up to the back of the filter, but everything fit on nice. I mean, alternator fit in there nice. Water pump's on good. That pulley looks good. All of this goes up here nice. This right here, that one little piece that I had, is gonna come right out here. It's gonna fit really nice. I mean, all in all, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do now. Work. I've got my little piece to put down here for the recirculator for the heater core, which I do not have. I've got motor. I mean, I think that's a win. Now we got something to work with. All of this is done. The belt that they say used with it is about an inch short, so I gotta go back up there, turn that one back in, get me another belt. But all the fuel rails are plumbed, all the returns plumbed, all the lines are plumbed, everything up here works. Everything at the back is run. I've just gotta get the fuel pump and all that, but that's gonna do it for us guys. I think now I'm gonna run over to Joey's, I'm gonna take that fuel tank, or that fuel cell, I'm gonna paint it up, and probably tomorrow we'll start putting that fuel filter on, get all the filters, and then basically have everything done except for the wiring, which he's working on the board right now. And like I said, wait on injectors, but those will be here next week. And then we're just waiting on transmission, and we're ready to roll. But that, I mean, we got a little bit of time. I mean, we're still gonna tear some stuff on the inside. Don't know if I'll do that before we actually get to getting all this up here buttoned up and all the fuel and all the wiring done, because I definitely want to start it, but we gotta wait for the transmission to get back. So that's gonna kind of hold everything up. But other than that, guys, that's gonna do it for us. I'm gonna jump over there, start painting on this tank, get ready for the next one, start putting the fuel pump on. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. We will catch you guys on the next one.